Well, a Bella Vista teen is preparing to walk across the graduation stage this May and receive her high school diploma. And for her and her family, this milestone means more than most after a years-long battle with cancer and heart failure. And she's joining us today to share her story. Welcome, Mackenzie.
Thanks for being here.
Love the name.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
So now, just to start things off, let me get this straight. You were diagnosed at just 14 years old with a type of bone cancer, is that
Yes.
right? Can you share a little bit about what that was like for
At
you?
the end of 2020, at the end of my sports seasons, we noticed a bump on my leg and finally got diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is a type of bone cancer. It was in my left femur, and we started chemo almost right away.
Oh my.
Yeah. And eventually the intense treatment followed by multiple surgeries and infections led to heart failure, is that right?
Yeah, the chemo initially gave me cardiomyopathy, which made my heart function less, and then the surgery site where they took the tumor out of my bone, we needed more surgeries on that, and the last one of those, I was sent home, and almost 2-3 days later, I was back in the hospital with end-stage heart failure.
Wow.
Oh my word.
Now I imagine, I have a high schooler myself. There's a lot of pressures on you
Yeah.
already. How did you kind of balance dealing with all of those health issues plus being, a high school student?
I like to say I was unlucky but lucky that COVID happened because virtual school was so much more popular. I was able to
Yeah.
stay on track for most of it. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Wow.
That's
That's
impressive.
amazing.
Yeah.
Now, you had a heart transplant, right? So when was that transplant? And also just how was that for you?
The transplant was last year, but before that, for the past 2 years, I was on a Abbott HeartMate through, which is this right here, and it pumped my heart for me. It was a left ventricular assist device, so it was implanted in my heart to keep it pumping because I was in heart failure. Because of the cancer, I wasn't eligible for transplant yet because I wasn't 2 years. I just wasn't eligible. So this is what kept my heart pumping until I got my transplant last year.
Wow.
Oh my
So you had a
goodness.
device inside of you keeping your heart going, and then you were able to have a heart transplant.
I was.
Wow. That is so impressive.
Absolutely.
You're getting ready to graduate? Is that
I
right?
am.
How does it feel? You've made it to graduation.
Yes.
The hardest part is going to be walking the stage.
and probably saying farewell to friends, I would imagine, that brings with it a
Yeah.
lot of emotions. But you've weathered the storm, and congrats to you. Way to keep going.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
absolutely. Now, can we ask you what your plans are after graduation?
I am hoping to become a nurse.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, that's amazing. Obviously, I think the answer is obvious, but what inspired that?
My health journey,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Did you have a direction like that? Did you know what you wanted to be? Did you pivot away from something in order to become a nurse?
I was diagnosed with cancer right before high school, so we were kind of doing our 4-year plan, and all I could say is it's very different than when I made that.
Very
Right.
different from that, I can imagine. Maybe there's someone out there right now who's kind of struggling with a health journey, going through, school. How would you encourage that person?
I would say to keep the things that comfort you very close, like your shows, a book, even music, and then to keep your comfort people very close. Have them on speed dial when you need them. It's very important to have a good support system.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
It's
absolutely right.
encouraging to hear that you did have a good support system. And I know too, like I said, like having a high school student, having that playlist or having that comfort movie or show that you stream, got to be important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Warda. Let me ask you this. What are you most looking forward to about the future?
Getting started helping other people like me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
that's encouraging.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and,
Yeah.
and sharing your story with us. We
Best of luck to
appreciate
you,
it.
Mackenzie.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
joining
me.
us.
Yes,
for sure.
absolutely.